Good evening and welcome to round 2 of the Australian Speedway League Championship, proudly presented by RRTV. I am your host for this evening, Sean O'Hara, and again joining me in the booth is Clint Smith. Good evening, Clint.
Yes, hello everyone. It's good to be back here for round 2. I'm very excited about tonight. Obviously last week was an awesome night, so hopefully tonight's going to be just the same.
Yeah, definitely looking forward to the racing here tonight. Currently on track is your warm-up for the Down Under Graphics Street Stock Series. So tonight, for the new listeners, this is a 3-round event. So we will have the Street Stocks first up, followed directly by Dirt Midgets, followed then by Sprint Cars. So you get 3 classes all on the same night, just like at a normal dirt track.
Yeah, just as we discussed, Sean, last week, it's really good that the ASL Show Speedway, they brought this onto the Australian servers and even around the world as well. So never seen this on the servers before. So it's a really good idea they put together, and last week was just as good. So like I said, tonight's going to be just as good as what it was last week.
Yeah, most definitely. We are just wrapping up practice here. We have about a minute left of practice before we will go into time trials for your street stocks tonight. So we will have heat racing again. So tonight in your street stocks we will have 3 heats, each consisting of 8 laps, and from each of those heats 5 will transfer through to our A main. Those that don't get those first 5 spots will go into our consolidation main, or what we will probably call the B main, and that will be 12 laps, and the transfers will obviously be decided later on, so we'll let you know about that. And from then we will have our feature tonight, which will be 30 laps. So it's great to see Brett Wheeler on the server, our winner from last week in the street stocks. A pretty dominating drive from Brett last week.
Yeah, no, it was. So yeah, in case you didn't join us last week, the top 3 results from round 1 was first place Brett Wheeler, as Sean just disclosed. In second place Josh Harm, unfortunately isn't showing in the server at the moment, so perhaps he's not joining us tonight. And third place in the feature race was Zach Masters, currently leading the way in practice with 15.2, so he's quick time at the moment in practice. So it's good to see 2 of them back, and Brett Wheeler, after taking that dominant win last week, is finding himself sitting in 8th. It's only practice, but 8th place out of 14. It's possibly not going to be a good night for Brett Wheeler, maybe.
Yeah, definitely looks to be struggling in practice here, Clint. Obviously practice doesn't make qualifying times, but usually you'd like to get the car dialed in this practice session so that you're ready to go when time trial gets underway, which we are about to move into time trials now.
Yeah, quickly before time starts coming up, we'll just quickly run through the weather we currently got at the moment. It's currently mostly cloudy and 22 degrees. The track temperature is also 22 degrees, so it's fairly cool out there at the moment. So obviously the track's going to retain some of the moisture, but as we see already, there's already some slick lines happening there on the inside and outside. So it's going to be interesting to see how this track holds out as the night goes on.
Yeah, just looking at the starting state as well, it's just slight usage, so we shouldn't see the track go too slick, which is probably good for these guys. Obviously the Street Stock Series are the up-and-coming racers, so they'll be looking to just get some seat time here, get a feel for it, and then possibly move into our Midget Series and Sprint Series as they get more involvement on dirt.
Yeah, definitely, as well as Limaland was on. It was just like Charlotte last week. It's only just recently been released to the service 2 weeks ago. So again, these drivers are getting used to these new tracks, and Limaland's obviously a lot shorter than a lot of the tracks on the service, as well as you've got those little tyres on the inside as well. So if you hit them, damages the car and also offsets you. So got to be careful with them as well, Sean.
Yeah, as you can see, the light poles are pretty close to that racing line, so sometimes the quick line is around that pole line, but obviously it's a fine line. If you do get it wrong, you will be going into one of those light poles.
Yeah, definitely. So we see some time start coming in there as well. So currently leading the way is Zach Masters with a 15.1. Next nearest person is Nathan Clark with a 15.3. John Schultz sitting in third place with a 15.5. So Zach Masters picking up where he left off, finishing third place last week, finds himself currently sitting provisional pole position.
And Clint, that's a relatively large time, 2/10 to be ahead of Nathan Clark in second place. That's a pretty dominating performance by Zach there. I think the third place got him very much G'd up for tonight to put in a good show. Yeah,
definitely. I mean, you see a lot of the actual field is actually doing 15.5s. It's only the top three at the moment are in 1s and 3s at the moment. So, saying that Daniel Gow just slots himself into second place, but the man I'm looking out for is Brett Willey. He's yet to set a time with 2 minutes and a half left to go.
Yeah, obviously we saw him struggling in practice there, so maybe just making those last few changes. He is currently on the track. His first lap was a 16.2, so he'll definitely be looking at trying to improve on that time.
Yeah, definitely. See, he's running the high line as well, trying to carry as much momentum as he can. Just saying that, slots himself up into 6th place now because Ryan Gordon just slotted himself up to 2nd. So 2.5 minutes left to go. Zach Masters has done his 2 laps. He's pulled in, so he still has 2 more laps in the bag, but he's decided to park it nice and early. So perhaps he thinks that 15.1 is safe for him to get that pole position.
Yeah, most definitely looking at this field. The next closest being 15.3, so it seems to be a smart move at the moment. That's a 10th quicker than the rest of the field. Ryan Gordon just goes a little bit quicker, managed to go 15.246 in third position. Nathan Britton is third position, 15.321. Sorry, that was Ryan Gordon's second with the 15.246.
Yeah, so we see some familiar names at the top of the charts, but also some people who we didn't see last week at the top. So you see Nathan Clark's in the top 5, so great result for him. And Brett Wheeler in 6th place, so just finished another lap and doesn't better his time. So he's stuck in that 6th place for the qualifying. So he's going to have to try and make the heat races count if he's going to make a good starting position at A-Main later on tonight.
Yeah, most definitely. Doesn't look like he has been able to dial that car in for the track at the moment. But obviously, being dirt, this track will change from heat to heat. So even the guys in the first heat will get a different track to the time trials, and then progressively further the track will obviously burn off, and each of the heats will have to try and keep up with those changes.
Well, exactly. That could be the thing. Like, Brett may have already done some practice on a really, really slick track, and he hasn't been bothered setting up his car for qualifying. He's just gone, nah, I've made a race set up for later on for the A-Main, and I'll just stick with it for the rest of the night rather than wasting time working on a qualifying setup.
Yeah, that's it. Will be interesting to see if that strategy plays out through the night. The main thing is trying to get through that heat in that top 5 position and make that transfer. You don't really want to be battling in the B main to get through to that A main. So that does wrap up qualifying here. We have Zach Masters is your top qualifier in the Down Under Graphics Street Stock Series. I was just grabbing the new grid. Second place was Ryan Gordon. Third place, Nathan Britton. Fourth place, Daniel Gow. Fifth place, Nathan Clark. So your Heat 1 grid is just lining up at the moment. So your grid for heat number 1 will be Zach Masters on your pole position. Nathan Britton will be alongside him. Nathan Clark will be in your 3rd position. John Schultz is in 4th. Out of 5th position, we have Troy Smith. 6th position, we have Dave Douglas. And out of 7th position, we have Rick Burt.
So you see... Sorry about that, Sean. I was just going to say, by the looks of it, we're going to have 7 cars in each heat race tonight, so it could possibly mean that there may not be a B main. It could just go straight to the feature race, which means these drivers are going to have to try and finish wherever they can these heat races to try and get a good place position for that A main later on.
Yeah, that's correct, Clint. I did just check, and it looks like we have also dropped Heat 3, so we will be only having 2 heats in this street stock event, and then we will go straight into the feature. We are green on the racetrack, and Zach Masters gets a great start from the inside, heads straight to that inside line, round the outside. Nathan Britton in that 777 car gets a good run out of turn number 2, trying to run that middle line there. Sorry, 25, car number 25, Nathan Clark runs in 3rd position.
Yeah, see Zach Masters, he's wasted no time to check out. He's showing that pace he's shown in qualifying. So, but the battle is on for 2nd between Britton and Clark now. So Clark now resumes that 2nd place, running that low line. And you see Britton's trying to make that high line work, but it's just not in there yet. So perhaps that bottom line's just got too much moisture in it still. And yeah, the top line will come in later on, but I just don't think it's there just yet.
Yeah, it's very interesting. We saw Brett run that high line very well last week, but it doesn't look like on this track condition that high line is the quick way. We see Nathan Britton quickly realise that and change down to the lower line and gets underneath Nathan Clark to take that 2nd position back.
Yeah, no, he knows that straight away. It's pretty good that he picked it up pretty quickly. So rather than wasting more time and possibly positions running on the high line. So before you know it, we've got 3 laps left to go, Sean. As we said, Zach Masters is massively checked out. He's 2/10 a lap faster than the rest of the field, the 15.2, so setting almost qualifying lap times here during a heat race. Britton's now clear of Clark, so unless Britton makes a mistake, I think he should have it, but Clark's not letting him go. He is trying the inside line still, but Britton's definitely covering it very well.
Yeah, definitely hard to pass when it looks like it's a 1-lane racetrack at the moment. Nathan Britton definitely giving it a good try there to stay ahead of Nathan Clark, but not much Clark can do. We see him searching high, searching low, but it looks like Nathan Britton is going to hold on to that 2nd position. So Zach Masters will take out heat number 1 of your Down Under Graphic Street Stock race number 1. 2nd position, Nathan Britton. 3rd place, Nathan Clark. 4th will be John Schultz. 5th will be Troy Smith. And Dave Douglas will be in 6th position. Yeah,
so obviously Masters is pretty much doing a very similar thing to what Wheeler did last week, how Wheeler showed a very dominant performance. Masters obviously returning the favour here this weekend, so and that's banking good points for him as well. So now it's going to be up to Wheeler in this heat race to try and make sure he gets similar points. Starting off in 3rd place he will be, so he's going to make sure he maintains that if he doesn't want to lose that late in the championship.
Yeah, as well as trying to get that good starting position in the A-main, being that there doesn't look like there's much up high, it's definitely going to be very hard to pass in the main. So if you can get any position in this heat race, it's definitely going to help your starting position in the A-main.
Yeah, definitely. So we're going to bring the grid up now as well for this heat race 2, the Down Under Graphics Street Stock Series. Starting off in 1st place will be Ryan Gorton. Right alongside him will be Daniel Gow. Starting in 3rd place will be Brett Willey. That's the man we were just talking about, currently leading the championship. Shane Davies was starting off in 4th place. In 5th will be Gavin Sandler. 6th, Dave Roberts, and George Fullerton rounds out your 7-car heat race.
Cars are under starters orders. We see them going around behind the pace car at the moment. Pace car has pulled in and we are waiting for a start. Ryan Gorton is your leader and they are away. Green flag. Ryan Gorton takes that inside line into the 1st corner and holds on to that 1st position. Daniel Gow in 2nd position and Brett Wheeler in 3rd. Let's see if Brett can find a way around here. Looks like he got a little bit squirrely out of turn number 4, but definitely 1 line at the moment, Clint, from the looks of this.
Yeah, definitely. I think all these drivers were definitely watching that first heat race and they saw all the rest of the drivers go pretty much on the inside. They even, yeah, no, you don't see anyone trying to go up high at the moment. So, but as this night goes on, this track will roughen up for the A main and you'll see people start venturing up and fingers crossed we'll at least get 2 lines for the A main later on tonight. But leading the way is Gordon, dominating victory at the moment as well. So it's about 3-4 car lengths from Daniel Gow sitting there in 2nd place. Brett Wheeler sitting there in 3rd place. So car 3 currently running in 3rd.
So what we can see at the moment is those top 3 are just running above that light grey mark, just trying to push that line up. The more they can push that line up, the more it's going to open this track up to obviously a 2nd lane so that we can get some passing here. It looks like the number 500 was trying to go high there. That's George Fullerton. He just got into the wall a little bit and managed to keep going.
Yeah, that's exactly. I mean, he's got nothing to lose running down the back, so you never know. Something like that could have made him work and lose some towards the front. So it's those brave people that takes those gambles to try and further themselves up rather than just following what everyone else is doing. So it's only a way you're going to put a pass on at the moment, I think.
Yeah, laps lining down. This is the last lap, so Ryan Gordon pulling away from Daniel. Definitely good 2 or 3 car lengths there. Daniel Gow in 2nd, Brett Wheeler in 3rd. Shane Davies is in 4th, George Fullerton in 5th, and I believe Gavin Sadler had half a lose back there on the other lap, and he's running in 7th. Will finish in 7th actually, as your checkered flag comes out.
Yeah, so I mean, it started off a pretty close battle for the first 1 or 2 laps, but as we saw, as the track just dried up and pretty much became that one line. So a few people tried to venture and they paid the price by spinning. But hopefully, like we said, hopefully in this A main coming up, it will be a little bit better.
So we move directly into the A main for the night. Starting off your pole position will be Zach Masters. He has taken out time trials. He did win his first heat. Can he make it 3 from 3 from pole? In 2nd position, we have Ryan Gordon. Nathan Britton is in 3rd position. Daniel Gow will start out of 4th. Nathan Clark will be your 5th position. In 6th place, we have Brett Wheeler with a little bit of work to do on this track, I believe. 7th position will be John Schultz. Shane Davies in 8th. 9th position, Troy Smith. Dave Roberts in 10th. Your 11th place, Dave Douglas. George Fullerton will be in 12th position. Rick Burt in 13th, and Gavin Sadler rounding out your 14.
All right. It's the first time I've asked you this tonight, Sean. Who do you think is going to pick up this feature win for round 2 of the Down Under Graphics Street Stock Series?
Well, I guess I could be biased, knowing that the track probably isn't going to come in as quickly as we thought it might, so I won't go with Zach. I will probably watch Daniel Gow in this one, see what he can do from that 4th position.
Yeah, no, definitely. It's going to be one to watch, so, but I reckon Gordon might get up there, I reckon. Starting off in that 2nd place, I mean, you could have easily, as you said, going for the easy Zach Masters and that, but I just think I haven't seen Masters venture anywhere else besides the inside so far, so yeah, perhaps he might start going up further up the track and it just won't work for him.
Green flag on the raceway. Zach Masters gets a great start. Around the outside of him is Ryan Gordon. Zach slides up in front of Ryan. Your 777 car, Nathan Britton on the inside. 3 wide coming out of turn 4.
So we see it's a pretty much a bit of a traffic jam at the moment. With pretty much the whole field line is stirred. So you see the likes of Zach Masters now almost getting passed around the outside by Ryan Gordon. So as Britton that was trying to go around the outside. So these 3 are going hard at it at the front. So Daniel Gow has dropped back into 4th after early on coming in 3rd place. So he's drifted a little bit back. So you see a lot of people now trying that high line. Wheeler's one of them. He's trying to make it work just like he did last week.
Side by side coming out of turn 2, the 777 and the 888 car of Ryan Gordon and Nathan Britton. Great battle at the moment, side by side. Nathan gets up a little bit high, touches the back of Gordon and has a little bit of a half lose. Continues to go, but now finds himself back in 5th. That was a bit unfortunate there, Clint.
Yes, most definitely. I mean, there's still 25 laps left to go. You never know, yellow may come out at some point, but there is yellows in this feature race, so well, that's all we need is that yellow flag to get out there, the safety car, and get on back up there and fighting turns to the top 3.
Now that Ryan Gordon isn't fighting with Nathan Britton anymore, he is on the back of Zach Masters, definitely making him work here. We are looking at everybody running the middle line, so hopefully everyone's going to start pushing that up. We're going to start seeing people slide to that inside to try and get the run.
Yeah, definitely. Still got 2 drivers still looking up high, so Wheeler's one of them, and also Britton as well after being sent back to 5th, so you see those 2 are running the high line. They're trying to get it to work, but just nothing's happening at the moment for those 2 drivers. So, but
as we speak, Nathan Britton gets a little bit high and goes into the wall, straightens him up, and just manages to run out of turn 4 against the wall. So definitely trying to make something work up high. It's just so hard to be able to hit that spot each time and each lap.
Yeah, definitely, especially since they brought in this new cushion as well, so these drivers will still be getting used to that. I mean, they've had almost 2 weeks now, but from what I've been reading on Facebook posts and things like that, everybody is struggling with this cushion and trying to get it to work for them.
Yeah, most definitely, Clint. It's not easy, even in real life, trying to run that cushion, so we wouldn't expect it to be any easier on iRacing. So iRacing have done a great job with this cushion. So we see Zach Masters just negotiating a lap car there, puts a 2-car gap on Ryan Gordon. So laps winding down. We are almost halfway, lap 13 of 30. Limaland being an extremely short racetrack, the lap times are very quick, so the laps will roll out quickly here tonight.
Definitely. Now I just saw the first chink in possibly Masters armor there, so you saw him coming between 3 and 4. I just had a bit of understeer and the car just did not want to steer, so you see it again as well, so he could just be struggling now for tyre grip, so this could be Gordon's chance to get up there and possibly battle for that win.
Yeah, and what we can see too is that that really dark surface, what we call the slick, starting to move up track. So they are having to turn in a little bit later to try and not turn in on that slick and get too sideways. We have a caution, and it looks like Dave Roberts has spun in the number 9 car.
Yeah, I'm just watching it now. It looks like he was just coming out of turn 2 and just drifted up into Gavin Sandler, car 71, and that just made him do a spin, and Sandler's just pulled straight on the infield and trying to rejoin the track by the looks of it. So, but yeah, it looks like he's just drifted up on the track, that car 9, and yeah, just pretty much had nowhere to go.
So Rick Burt as well has a smoking engine that will put an end to his night. We will probably see him pull into the pits in the next lap. That engine would be getting pretty hot by the looks of it. It is looks like steam coming out of that engine, Clint.
Yeah, definitely. I mean, I wouldn't be surprised if he's been given a meatball by the officials. So, but we've seen plenty of times people don't obey the meatball flag and they stay out there. So it'll be interesting to see what happens.
We are on lap 19 of 30, currently under caution here as the drivers go back double file, waiting for the green flag. We are green. Zach Masters gets the run out of turn 4, moves Ryan Gordon up high, try and push him back there. Daniel Gow gets the run on the inside of Gordon coming into turn 3 and 4. Daniel Gow takes your 2nd position away from Ryan Gordon.
Yeah, I think that safety car is not what Gordon needed. So you see him get a really good run in there though, up the inside of Gow now. So tries a slide job, but just doesn't carry enough momentum, and Gow on the outside resumes that 2nd place. So these two are going to go to the end. But as I was saying, yeah, Gordon definitely didn't need that safety car, I don't think.
No, definitely not. Ryan looks to be still running that middle line. Daniel Gow up high, so they are side by side. Daniel Gow making that high line work. Ryan Gorton just trying to run around the middle. Brett Wheeler slides up on Nathan Clark back there in the 4th and 5th position.
Yeah, exactly. So Wheeler's starting to make his move now up into 4th. So with 7 laps left to go on the board, he could still get up there for that podium finish.
Most definitely. If Ryan and Daniel keep battling like this, he is in for a good chance. He is starting to wheel that number 3 on the high line.
Yeah, so 5.5 laps left. So Masters are just definitely checked out. So given no safety cars, he may have this one sewn up. But the battle's definitely on between 2nd and 3rd with Wheeler closing in. You see Gow up the inside of Gordon still, so these two are trading positions like nothing. One on the inside, one on the outside. 4 laps left to go on the board.
4 laps to go, and here comes Brett the Jet Wheeler. He has driven himself into this competition. 2nd and 3rd battling hard. Brett in 4th position. It's about to be a 3-car battle. Brett looks to go around the outside, still chasing Daniel, but Ryan Gorton holding both of them there in that middle line. So it's definitely working high and through the middle now.
Yeah, definitely 2 laps left to go. This is quickly shaping up to be the battle of the race at the moment. Wheeler's still trying to make the outside work, and I think he's going to get the momentum coming out this corner. But Gordon just gets a really good run up for 2 there, so manages to hold that position. Only just though. But Wheeler might be actually getting held up here by Gow as the white flag is out, Sean.
White flag is out. Zach Masters is your leader, but we are concentrating on this battle for 2nd, 3rd and 4th. Brett gets into the back of Daniel Gow, still trying to go around that high line. Ryan Gorton actually gets Daniel Gow on the line for 2nd. Daniel Gow 3rd, and Brett Wheeler there in 4th position. Great battle there by those 3 guys.
Yeah, definitely. I think Wheeler was just getting held up a little bit there by Daniel Gow on the outside. He couldn't carry the momentum he wanted to, and that perhaps costed him there at the end. And Gordon got a really good run on both of them. So really good race there from Wheeler, starting from 6th place. But yeah, you can't take anything away from Zach Masters at the front there. Definitely deserved the win tonight.
Nah, Zach Masters taking your time trial, winning his heat, and also taking out the main, leading all 30 laps here tonight. Pretty dominant performance by Zach Masters. Yeah, so
we'll run through the finishing positions for your Down Under Graphics Street Stock Round 2. First place in the feature goes to Zach Masters. 2nd place went to Ryan Gordon. Daniel Gow was at 3rd place. In 4th was Brett Wheeler after starting from 6th place, so that's some good points there for his championship. In 5th is Nathan Clark. 6th place went to John Schultz. Dave Douglas in that 7th. Troy Smith in the 8th. Gavin Sandler at 9th, and rounding out your 10 is George Fullerton after starting off the rear. Shay Davis gets the 11th place. Dave Roberts in 12th. Nathan Britton 13th, and Rick Burt rounding out your field in 14th place.
So, Clint, that actually turned out to be quite an exciting race after we thought the heats were going to be a little bit one lane during that main. But like we said, that track changed, that high line came in, and we got some really good racing.
Yes, most definitely. I mean, if we saw more heat races like we saw last week, no doubt the track would have come on a little bit more sooner as well. So only having the 2 heat races tonight probably hurt the track a little bit, but at least we still treated to a great feature race there.
Most definitely. The track conditions probably being a little cooler here didn't help that track burn off. So it's all these little things in dirt that we need to always look at as drivers. So definitely keeps the drivers on their toes.
Yeah, definitely. So we see the drivers just getting their trophies right now. We might bring our 3rd place finisher, Daniel Gow, into the booth for a bit of a quick interview here. Daniel Gow, you got us there. Daniel, you there? Yeah, and unfortunately, perhaps he's just celebrating too much with his pit at the moment. He just can't get up here for a bit of an interview. So we might just bring in Brett Wheeler, starting from 6th place, ends up finishing in 4th place. Brett the Jet, how's it going?
Yeah, no, it's not too bad.
So you definitely consolidated some good points tonight for your championship. You didn't have the quite the qualifying you wanted, having to start off in 3rd place for your heat race and starting off in 6th place there for the feature, but getting up there into 4th in the end.
Yeah, no, look, I just flat out sucked in qualifying in the heats. It was all about just trying to survive, you know, and finish where I started. And I managed to do that, and you know, I was always going to go to the top in the feature. It was only a matter of time before it came in, but I guess it took a little bit too long to come in.
Yes, now in that feature race there, you obviously came on really strong towards the end. Was Daniel Gal perhaps holding you up a little bit there on that high line, but you seem to be carrying a little bit more momentum than what he did into the corners?
But, you know, yeah, he's not going to move out of the way just because, you know, someone behind him is carrying a little bit more speed. It was sort of my job to try and get around him, and I couldn't do that. And I definitely thought I had a top 2 car. I mean, I sort of found the cushion earlier than anybody else did, and I knew I was catching Gowie and Gordo there, but you know, those 2 guys, they're 2 class acts. They know how to finish off a race.
So I'm just guessing at the moment now. Unfortunately, that means that you probably slot back into 2nd place, maybe you're 3rd place in the championship now. So what's it going to take from you to get back up there in that 1st place next week?
A lot of practice during the week, something I didn't do this week. I sort of ran no laps up until sort of the server went up, but I just, you know, I'll just keep plugging away and yeah, just keep taking each race as it comes. It's all about, you know, finishing up near the front at the end of the night, and if I can do that, and hopefully I'll be somewhere near the top towards the end of the championship.
Yeah, no problem. Now you got a sexy looking car on track. I'm sure there's a few sponsors you want to thank for that car.
Yeah, I thank Bob King at BK Designs. You know, you've done a fantastic job on the race car. I want to thank you guys, RRTV, for covering this race. Down Under Graphics, Gavin Sutton, all the crew at the Australian Speedway League as well, and Ultimate Dirt TV and Team VLR.
Yeah, no problem. So that's Brett Wheeler, your 3rd place, so your 4th place finisher tonight. Good luck for the rest of the series, Brett.
Thanks, guys. I appreciate the broadcast as well.
Thanks for that, Clint. I think we are going to try Daniel again, see if he has finished those celebrations. Daniel, great drive there. You went to that high line first to try and get past Ryan there. Obviously, the track didn't come in as quick as we thought it was, but managed to get there in the end.
Yeah, I was kind of hoping that just trying to keep momentum up around the top would probably be a bit quicker than sliding through that stuff down the bottom, but just wasn't just there.
Yeah, I think the main problem was that drive that Ryan kept getting off the middle. It was definitely quicker through the start of the corner and high line, but just that drive, you couldn't get that drive on the high line.
Just car was still a bit loose, but yeah, it wasn't the best up there, but I had to try something to try and catch Zach as well.
Yeah, it's always challenging on these one-lane racetracks. You've definitely got to be the first to venture up there and be the pioneer. Did you see Brett, obviously behind you, trying to bump draft you there at the end? Did that put any sort of pressure on you to try down low again and try and get past Ryan on the bottom?
No, not at all. I seen Brett coming on the relative, and I'm like, Brett's got to be up high. So just checked. I let Gordo go and jump back up high to see if it was actually a bit quicker, and it was a little bit, but yeah, you're still getting that run out of the middle, which was still better.
Yeah, taking nothing away, still a great drive. Is there anyone you'd like to thank tonight?
Just the guys at SSR for all their work and all their support. Thank you.
Thanks for that, Daniel. Great drive in that first street stock event tonight. We'll see you later on in the night.
You will in the 410s.
Thank you.
Cheers, mate.
No problem, Sean. Well, I think that wraps up the action here from round 2 of the Down Under Graphics Street Stock Series. We might cut to a short break now before the race merch midgets get out on track for their round 2.
Welcome back to RRTV's coverage of Australian Speedway League Championship. We are into our second event of the night, the race merch dirt midgets, just on track currently at the moment, doing their warm-up. As last week, we will be having 4 heats in the midgets. Each will be 10 laps. 5 drivers from each heat will transfer into the A main. We will then have a C main of 12 laps, a B main of 12 laps, followed by the 30 lap feature. Joining me in the commentary booth again is Clint Smith.
Yeah, it's great to be back. Obviously, we've done some track prep done. And the track's all looking good again for these midgets to once again turn up the heat like they did last week.
Definitely looks like a fresh track out there at the moment, as we are starting to see who is the front runners for tonight. So currently leading your practice session is Jordan Charge. Bailey Clive is in second and Jordan McDonald is in third.
Yeah, so just in case you didn't quite catch round 1 last week, had a bit of a controversial moment in there. I'll get into that a little bit later on, but your top 3 podiums in the feature race was Bob King ended up getting that first place top step, Jordan Charge in that second place, and that third place went to Lewis Hewitt. But a bit of a controversial incident there between Morris and King there. Morris wasn't too happy from what I hear, Sean.
No, certainly not. A protest was put in, and Bob King, I believe, is on a verbal caution after that racing incident. Obviously, everyone racing hard, not giving much room, so Bob probably just needs to take a little bit easy tonight, let that verbal warning go until next week, and then obviously go back into pushing hard.
Yeah, definitely. I mean, it's always hard as well when you got something like that hanging over your head, because you have everyone else around you pushing as hard as they can, and you know you can't give it 100%. You just got to hold back and that could cost him perhaps tonight, and we may see him off the podium, but we'll have to wait and see if he still pulls out with the guns.
Yeah, most definitely. Just looking at his times at the moment, he is currently sitting in 8th position, so has a little bit of work to do to get up the front at the moment. So something interesting tonight, Clint, that we would like to introduce is our driver spotlight. Something new that we're introducing to RRTV here, and it's just to give the guys that run in the back there. We obviously may not be able to get to them. Obviously the competition at the front, being dirt, is fast and furious, so we may not be able to get back down there to them. So we will introduce a different driver for our spotlight segment each week, and this week our spotlight driver will be Matt Reed. So quite interesting with Matt. He is a real life dirt racer. He does drive lightning sprints at Valvoline Raceway in Sydney, New South Wales. So during the night we will follow Matt's coverage and see how he progresses through this Race Merch Dirt Midgets series.
Yeah, definitely. I mean, he states that he's only been in the sim racing world for a very short period of time, but in that time he's had a couple of top 5s and a couple of top 10s. So getting a top 5 or a top 10 is definitely no slouch in the sim racing world, especially when you got the tough competition we have in the Australian Speedway League, as well as other leagues are out there.
Yeah, most definitely. Definitely with some more sim time, we would expect him getting some consistent top 5s. So we will follow him through the night. Jordan Charge is still your leader in this practice session for your Race Merch Midgets series.
So one person I don't see currently enter the server. We've got 21 cars in total, but one person I see missing is Caden Brown. So it was good to have him on board last week. In case you don't know who Caden Brown is, he's your current real world #1 when it comes to midgets. And he was here last week and put on a pretty good show. So it's a bit of a shame he's not here this weekend. So, but just gives a couple of other people go at the spotlight.
Yeah, it was great seeing Caden come into the server and have a good run. He definitely surprised me, considering I believe that was one of his first runs on the actual sim itself. So a bit unfortunate he couldn't make it for the second night. Obviously has some other commitments, but hopefully we'll be able to talk about him in future races to come in the Australian Speedway League Championship.
Yeah, most definitely. So but it's still leading the way. You've still got Jordan Charge leading the way, at 12.6 still. So a lot of the other field is doing 7s and 8s. So it's actually quite amazing. I'm looking down the times at the moment. From 14th up to 2nd, they're all doing a 12.8. So this qualifying is definitely going to be sizzling hot. Another thing I'm looking at as well, I'm just looking at the info for the event tonight with this thing. I think it says the feature race has an invert top 6. So perhaps you might finish the highest on points for the night, but you'll be starting up in 6th place. Is that correct, Sean?
Yeah, most definitely. I was going to explain that a little bit later, but you have brought it up, so let's explain it to the audience. Your A main will have a top 6 invert. So basically, we lock the top 6 cars in. We then invert them. First, we'll go to 6th position, and all the way back up to 6th being your pole position for the night.
Yeah, it's definitely going to make that feature race a little bit more tougher, especially if likes of like Jordan Charge, perhaps if he finishes top points tonight and starts from that pole position. In fact, he'll be starting from that 6th place. So depends on what the track state's going to be. That might either help you or more also hinder you as well. So we'll have to wait and see. But this track is definitely suited to these midgets being a little bit shorter than the bigger tracks we're used to seeing.
Yeah, most definitely. Having the shorter wheelbase, the Limaland layout is most definitely suited to the midgets. There's a lot of room to move around and you can throw the car around a little bit. It is going to be very different when we bring out the 410s on this racetrack. It is going to get crowded.
I was actually thinking about that last week. I'm just like, hang on, 410s at Limaland? Is that even possible? But to me, I think it's going to be a little bit like my local track here, Murray Bridge. So it's fairly small. Lap times are usually about a 10-second lap or 10.8-second lap around Murray Bridge. So it might be something similar to what I see there. But I tell you what, with all this banking around these corners and short straights, it's definitely going to put on a lot of good action, I reckon, those 410s later on.
Yeah, most definitely. It's going to definitely bring out your, bring out the best in your drivers. So just having a look here at the moment, Jordan is still leading the way in first position. Second is Zachary Phelan. Third, Bailey Clive. Fourth, Jordan McDonald. And fifth, Harry Edwards. Harry, definitely someone we haven't spoken a lot about, but really good driver in the midgets.
Yes, most definitely. It's really good to see up in the top 5 as well during practice. It'd be interesting to see if he can maintain that position come qualifying, but it's really good to see a lot of these new up-and-comers getting on up there and battling it out with these well-known names we come to know in the sim racing world. But having looked down the times as well, like everyone's at the moment still got perhaps a 12.8 and a 13, so we're currently off pace at the moment. So perhaps the track's seen the best, so which is why we're not seeing true positions being gained at the moment.
Yeah, practice will always be practice, and time trial is where it's all going to happen. So everybody just now looking at how this track's going to change, seeing what small changes they're going to make just before we go into time trials. We still have 13 minutes of practice left, so still a lot of change in this track. So you do have to be careful not to miss that transition and sit in the pits and think that you're all set, and then all of a sudden you come out for time trials and you have a completely different racetrack.
Yes, most definitely. Just looking down the driver's engine as well, I just happened to see a name sitting down in 20th place. I didn't really see him until I scrolled down on my little computer. Jock Goodyear is joining us in the midgets as well, so Jock's definitely no slouch when it comes to open wheeler racing in the real world as well as on the sim world, so racing in Tasmania, but travelling across the ocean, hitting the mainland this season as well in the 410.
Yeah, most definitely. I was down at the Classic and saw Jock racing down there. Definitely a great driver in the 410. A great result for him down at the Classic in Warrnambool. So just to rush that through, looks like the admin has advanced the session, so we are going into time trials.
Yeah, so time trials, we have 7 minutes on the board, but all these drivers get 3 laps, I believe it is. So you got 3 laps to set your fastest lap here. So these drivers are going to have to make sure they hit those lines and those apexes really well. But it's going to be interesting to see if they're going to take the high line or the low line to get that quick time tonight.
Just watching Brett Morris here at the moment set his first laps. So it looks like he is going high through 3 and 4. Just switches back down to the middle there actually, so he's running that middle line. Jordan McDonald is your fast man. Bob King is your fast man. And Jock Goodyear just becomes your fast man. So times are just getting quicker and quicker here. We might just let the field settle down before we start calling quick times.
Yeah, I was just watching Bob set his laps there. He's almost triangling the corner rather than making a really round apex. He's actually triangling it. So he's going really sharp into the beginning of the first corner and straight lining it coming out of it. So could be carrying a little bit more momentum coming out those corners, but it sees him sitting in 5th place at the moment. It'd be interesting to see if he can maintain that time.
Yeah, most definitely. My timing screen lighting up all greens as everyone laying down quick time after quick time. Your top 5 at the moment is Harry Edwards in first position, Jock Goodyear in 2nd, Lachlan Smith in 3rd, James Golden Boy Robbie in 4th position, and Daniel Vassell in 5th.
Yeah, it's good to see Danny up there in 5th place at the moment. It's a really good result for him. So hopefully he can maintain it as well. So last week, no doubt if you watched it, he was running his real world sprint car theme on his 410. So hopefully, fingers crossed, he's running exactly the same livery tonight, and you can actually have a look at it because it is a sweet looking ride.
Yeah, also carrying that RRTV sponsorship in real life, so bringing the sim world to the real world. Definitely a great ambassador for RRTV. Danny Vassell currently dropped to 7th at the moment, but a great result for him being inside the top 10.
Yeah, definitely. So we see only 2 people on track now, so I think a lot of people have called it quits. So currently all I've got is Mark Reading currently on track. He crosses the line and he doesn't better his time. He stays in 6th place, so still a top 10 result for him. But I think everyone's rendered out their quick laps at the moment, so I think your quick time goes to Joel Berkeley.
Yeah, quick time to Joel there. He set that in the late session of that time trial period. So Harry Edwards in 2nd position. 3rd place will be Jock Goodyear. Lachlan Smith is in your 4th position. James Robbie is in 5th position. Mark Reardon in 6th. Danny Vassell in 7th. Bob King in 8th. Zachary Phelan in 9th. And Gavin Sadler riding out your top 10.
Yeah, so looking back a little bit further as well, Bailey Clive slots himself into that 11th place. Jordan McDonald, now that's a bit weird seeing him in that 12th place, so he's got some work to do in his heat races later on. Terry Marwood sitting in that 13th place. Ryan Harris, he actually managed to put a qualifying lap in tonight. I'm pretty sure last week he was having a bit of engine issues. I can't quite remember if that was in the 410 or the midget, so but it's good to see him up there in the 14th place. Jordan Charge, now wow, that is a man you wouldn't guess of seeing in 15th place. Your 2nd place finisher last week in round 1 seeing in 15th. So as we said, anything can and will happen in qualifying. So you may be the quickest person on track, but if you don't nail that lap, you're going to be down the back and probably making your way through the alphabets later on for the feature races. In that 16th place is Brenton Davison. 17th, Brett Morris. So he's got some work to do as well if he's going to make up some valuable points which he lost last week. Stephen Williams in there in the 18th. Sean Dennis in 19th. Brendan Hamilton in 20th. George Fullerton 21st, and your spotlight driver for tonight, Matty Reid, sitting there in 22nd place, not setting a time, so perhaps he's playing the safer option and staying off rear field for his heats.
Yeah, interesting that Matt didn't set a time there. I'm wondering if he may have had some issues with the car and couldn't get it out for time trials. So we are just winding down here, waiting for giving those last few drivers who didn't set a time a bit of time to go out, but actually time trials has been called, so that is your lineup for tonight.
Alrighty. So this heat one's going to be, I think, a bit of a hot one as well. So a lot of quick drivers with their names in here, and I'm really pleased to see who's going to be starting from pole position. Good old Danny Vassell. We were plugging him before with the RRTV sponsorship, so it's great to see an RRTV driver will be starting up in pole position in this race, Sean.
Yeah, it's great to see Daniel up there. He's put in a lot of practice time for obviously the sprints and the midgets, so it's great to see when that hard work does pay off and you can put yourself on the front row. Second position, we have James Robbie, so out of the same team as Danny Vassell, the GSR stable. So again, we have a GSR front row.
Yeah, definitely. So making our way through the rest of the field. So Jock Goodyear slotted himself into that 3rd place. Right alongside him in 4th will be Joel Berkeley. Zachary Phelan starting off in that 5th. And in 6th will be Bailey Clive. Terry Marwood in that 7th. And Jordan Charge in 8th. Brett Morris in 9th. And Sean Dennis is your top 10. Rounding out your final row will be Brendan Hamilton and Matty Reid. So I tell you what though, I can't even fit on my hands on people who could possibly win this heat race. It's going to be a crazy race, I think, for this first heat race tonight.
Clint, we just had some breaking news. Looks like Zachary Phelan won't be making this first heat, so that's such a shame for him starting in that 5th position. He looks like he is trying to get out onto the grid, but time may just get the better of him here. Obviously, the drivers have a set amount of time to transition from the time trial and get onto their grid, so we're just waiting here for Zach to see if he makes it.
Yeah, well, exactly. They got a 2-minute warning, so obviously pace car's off now, so they pretty much got a 1 minute now to get their car out there if they're going to take place in this heat race. So the other one's Brendan Hamilton as well, so he's not out there as well. So 2 drivers possibly not starting this heat race, Sean.
Yeah, it's such a shame for those 2 drivers. Definitely missing the heat races here puts you at a disadvantage for the rest of the night.
Yeah, so we see the infield actually has been closed, so those drivers will be missing on this heat race. So very unfortunate for Zachary Phelan. He jumped in his car ready to go, but unfortunately officials won't let him go out, so he's out of this first heat race.
That will make the rest of his night extremely hard, trying to come through this jam-packed field of top quality drivers. We are green for your first heat. Joel Berkeley, apologies, Dan Vassell gets the jump. James Robbie in 2nd position.
Yeah, so Vassell leading the way there, so he got an awesome jump there, leading by 4 car lengths, so it'd be great to see if he can hang on to that. So, you see contact a little bit further back through the field there, so I believe one of those drivers was Goodyear, as well as another driver here. I didn't quite sure who it was, but there is no yellows in this heat race, so we're going straight through, Sean. So unfortunately to those drivers, they're going to end up with a DNF for this first heat race.
Yeah, that was Brett Morris there, just getting tangled and had a bit of a flip and is now back in the pit lane. Focusing back up on your leaders. Dan Vassell now with a good lead over James Robbie. Jock Goodyear in 3rd. Terry Marwood gets past Jock on the inside for your 3rd position and will get that position. Jock goes back around the outside, but Terry running through the middle there. Great drive and holds on to 3rd.
Yeah, it's a great pass there from Marwood. It was awesome to see him put that slider on Goodyear, managed to hold it. So you see Goodyear there struggling out of that turn 4 now, so we may lose another position here to Jordan Charge, and he does. So Charge goes straight past around the outside, so Goodyear's perhaps struggling this first heat race. He showed pretty good speed during qualifying, but just not showing the signs here. But up front, Vassell still checked out, so he's packed his bags. He's ready for the feature race later on tonight.
Yeah, it just looks like Jock there struggling for traction coming out of the corners, so it's just not getting the drive, and that's where everybody is seems to be picking him off at the moment.
Yeah, well, exactly. But remembering as well, we're taking the top 5 to go through the A main, so Goodyear still sitting in that transfer position for the A main start.
Yeah, there's a good back gap to Bailey Clive, so your top 5 are locked in for this evening. They will be Danny Vassell taking out heat race number 1, James Robbie in 2nd position, Terry Marwood in the 3rd place position, Jordan Charge in 4th, and your final A-main qualifier was Jock Goodyear. Bring up the rest of the results. 6th position, Bailey Clive. Sean Dennis in 7th. Matt Reed in 8th. Joel Berkeley, I think, took that heat but didn't start, so he'll be in 9th. Brett Morris, like we said, crashed in 10th. Zachary Phelan didn't take the start, and Brendan Hamilton also not taking the start.
I tell you what, Sean, too, yeah, unfortunately, we're actually skipping our final 2 heat races. Obviously, we have a time curfew here at the Limaland, so officials have decided to cancel Heat 3 and Heat 4. So this will be our final heat for the night, and we're going to go straight into A-mains.
that is going to be interesting. So I guess Joel Berkeley and Brett Morris, that works out really well for, as they were going to have to struggle through the B, so they will at least get an A main start here tonight.
Yeah, no, it's still a bit tough for them coming from the back of the field, I think, after getting that DNF. So, but you never know, perhaps a few other people in this heat race might struggle a bit as well. So they may still get some decent points running at this championship. At the end of the day, you want to get that feature race win, but you're always looking at the bigger picture. It's a 10-round series, I believe it is. So it's a long series. So anything can happen as the year goes on.
Yeah, you definitely want to be at the end. Bob King will be on your pole position for heat number 2. Mark Reardon in 2nd. Lachlan Smith will be in 3rd. Harry Edwards in 4th position. Gavin Sadler is in 5th. Your 6th position, Jordan McDonald. Watch out for him to come through the field. Ryan Harris in 7th position. Brenton Davison in 8th. Stephen Williams will be starting out at 9th. Lewis Hewitt out of 10th, and George Fullerton out of 11th. We are green, Clint.
Definitely, yeah. You see our first driver upside down, Lewis Hewitt. So he was starting off the rear and just made contact with another driver, end up on his roof, so he's out of this race. But leading the way is, according to my timing sheets, is Bob King. So it's finally updated here. So Bob King leading the way from Lachlan Smith, sitting in the 2nd place, I believe it is.
Yeah, Lachlan Smith in 2nd. Jordan McDonald has come from nowhere. He's just put himself into the 2nd position, running that high line there, putting up a challenge to Bob King. Gets into the wall a little bit, coming into turn 1. Manages to keep it going, keeping that 2-car lead there. Bob King still your leader. Jordan McDonald 2nd. Lachlan Smith in 3rd.
Yeah, definitely. So you see a lot of these drivers sticking to the high line, right up against the cushion here. So only 1 or 2 drivers down low trying to make the bottom work. So, but Jordan McDowell now taking it up to Bob King. So your last round, your first round winner. He's looking for that first heat race. Now you saw awesome speed from Donald, and he gets that first place now.
Uncharacteristic mistake there by Bob King. Just gets a little bit too high, puts the right rear in. Jordan goes and does the same thing in the next corner. They are changing positions. It looks like Bob fared a little bit better for his wall ride than Jordan did. Currently, Bob King in 1st, Harry Edwards 2nd, Gavin Sadler battling with Lachlan Smith in the 3rd and 4th position, changing positions there. Great race, 3 wide coming out of turn 4.
Yeah, definitely. You see the 2 teammates going at it pretty hard there between Sadler and Smith. So it's great to see them battling it out there for Gavin Sadler Racing. So, but yeah, you see a lot of drivers are struggling with the cushion, as we said during the street stocks early on. So in saying that, the white flag is out. Bob King still leading the way. Harry Edwards sitting in the 2nd place, but Sadler and Smith are there as well. 3 wide coming out of the final corner. Who's going to get it? Bob King got the heat race win, but Harry Edwards ended up getting that 2nd place. Gavin Sadler rounds out your top 3. Lachlan Smith gets that 4th place. Mark Reardon gets that 5th. Ryan Harris gets that 6th place. Jordan McDonald, unfortunately, after leading the race and riding the wall, end up in 7th. Stephen Williams gets that 9th place, and Lewis Hewitt was a DNF after that first lap rollover.
Yeah, certainly unfortunate for Jordan there. He did fantastic drive to get up to 2nd and then obviously into the lead, but just obviously didn't quite gauge that cushion, ran over the top of it and into the wall, obviously did suspension damage and had to retire from that heat.
So definitely, so now we see we're jumping into a bit of a warm-up, so giving those Heat 1 racers a bit of a chance to have a look at the track, and at least that way it's a level playing field between Heat 1 and Heat 2, because guess what? We jump straight into the A-main. It's the big one, boys.
So I'm just noticing something here, Clint. I'm not sure if this is right, but looking at my timing sheet, Joel Berkeley does not have a starting position. So we will have 22 cars by the looks of it. I'm wondering if Joel's actually missed that main.
Yeah, that'll be interesting. Perhaps he sustained a bit more damage than what we thought during the bit of an incident he had before. So I heard he had a bit of a choice words with a few people on the in the pits after the race, but perhaps his night was done from terminal damage, perhaps. So, but nevertheless, they'll get that car fixed up and no doubt be back next week, hopefully.
Yeah, it's such a shame for Joel. Had a chance of trying to run from the back in the A main. We know he has done it before, so that would have been a show for the fans, but just looks like some terminal damage has put him out for the night.
Yeah, it's been unfortunate, but he is doing double duties tonight too, so straight after this, they'll obviously put this midget away and roll the 410 out with the Louis Golfo pushed down on track, all ready for his qualifying. So he's got a busy night on for him and his pit crew.
Most definitely. We will roll through your 22 car grid. Starting on pole will be Gavin Sadler. Just reminder, guys, that we did invert the top 6. So Sadler will be on pole. Terry Marwood in 2nd position alongside him. Harry Edwards in 3rd position. James Robbie out of 4th. Bob King in 5th position. And Danny Vassell in 6th. Jordan Charge will be in 7th position. Your 8th position will be Lachlan Smith. Jock Goodyear out of 9th, and Mark Reardon rounding out your top 10. In 11th position, we have Bailey Clive. Ryan Harris in your 12th position. 13th position sees Sean Dennis. Jordan McDonald's will be taking the start in 14th. Matt Reed, our spotlight driver, out of 15th. Be interesting to watch him come through the field. Brenton Davidson in 16th, position 17. Brett Morris. Stephen Williams in 18th. Zachary Phelan in 19th. He'll be disappointed to be down there. 20th position, Lewis Hewitt, someone else who will be disappointed to be at the back. 21st, Brendan Hamilton. 22nd will be George Fullerton.
Now, I just noticed, Sean, as well, Jordan McDonald's team have actually packed up their midget for the night as well, so perhaps another one that had terminal damage during his heat race when he ridden that wall, so there could be another one of our fast drivers out for round 2.
Yeah, quite interesting. Looks like Joel's trying to get that position, but it doesn't look like stewards are going to let him start. So maybe that damage wasn't as bad as we thought. He just didn't get that position, and he wanted Jordan's, but he doesn't look like he's going to be able to get it.
Yeah, no days arguing the point of he should be given that second chance. But we're going green now, Sean.
Green flag, and away we go. Your leader, Gavin Sadler and Terry Marwood. The leaders bang wheels going into turn 1. Elbows out racing here on this short track. We knew it was going to come. 4, 5 wide in the mid-pack. Everybody looking for as much real estate as they can get, and nobody giving an inch at the moment.
Yeah, definitely. Yellow flag is out, so safety guards will be hanging on track. I was just about to say, Bob King wasted no time after starting in 6th place, found himself in the top 3 already. So say there with Daniel Vassell as well. He started off in 6th place and found himself up into 4th now. So really good starting position for both those drivers, picking up 2 positions in the first 2 laps. I'm just having a look to see if I can quite catch the replay from what happened there.
Yeah, I'm just going back and having a look also. Couple of people in the wall in the back there. I think it was mainly just everybody because of the contacts. I think that's why iRacing put the yellow flag out. I couldn't see who actually caused that in that mid-pack. It was definitely frantic back there, Clint.
Oh, it definitely was. I mean, obviously 22 cars on track. It's going to be crazy in this small bull ring circuit.
We are green. Gavin Sadler leads us away, followed by Harry Edwards. Bob King up to 3rd already. Danny Vassell in 4th. Bob goes slide jobs, doesn't quite pull it off. Looks like Harry tries to go back. Daniel, the big winner out of that, comes into second place. Bob tries to look back up the inside of Danny Vassell, but can't quite do it. Looks to the high line. Danny holds your second position. In the meantime, Gavin Sadler is checking out.
Yeah, definitely. We see Harry Edwards now into the wall, so he was running in 5th place. So we stay green though, which is a good thing. So, but very unfortunate, dropping him back all the way back to 9th place now. So he's got a lot of work to do to make himself back up there. So, but towards the front, they're still battling 3 wide between Jordan Charge, Lachlan Smith, saying that yellow flag is now out on the track.
Looks like Lewis Hewitt there got into Harry Edwards, so looks like he got a little bit flustered there, Harry, and just drove off the wall a little bit, and unfortunately Lewis was there and got into him, and that will be the end of his night.
Yeah, definitely. So just having a look as well in the pits, I just had my my little butterflies tell me that Joel Berkeley, what actually happened with him was he got a black flag in his heat race, obviously. So, and the officials decided to can him for the rest of the night as well. So, very unfortunate that he wasn't able to take his grid position here tonight, but we'll be back next week.
It's unfortunate for Joel, but I'm sure he will bounce back in the many rounds still to come in the Australian Speedway League Championship.
Yeah, definitely. And Jordan McDonald also had similar issues, bit of an internet issue, so was able to join. But we're back green racing.
Gavin Sadler leads us into turn 1. Bob trying to go around the high line on Daniel Vassell for second position. Changes it up, diamonds it down, goes from high to low, back up to high through 1 and 2, working that high line, trying to get the run. He gets the run on the inside of Dan. Dan gets the drive around the outside. They go side by side into turn 1. Bob King with the slide up into the high line. Doesn't quite get it done still. This is amazing racing. Danny Vassell on the inside getting great drive. Bob King around the outside, side by side for your second position.
Yeah, you see Vassell is doing that triangle technique where he's cuts it in really sharp going into the corner, making a straight line coming out. So it was working for him, but perhaps that inside line now is just losing that bit of moisture, and that top line's now coming in. You see the 2 SSR cars now coming through. Oh, and just saying that, we see contact towards the back, and Vassell is out. So you see, dropped all the way back to the field. I'm just trying to see who that was. It was an SSR driver that actually clipped him.
Yeah, Clint, I think what that was, Danny Vassell obviously saw that that high line was coming in, and he's tried to go up there. Unfortunately, I think it was Jordan Charge had the run around the outside, and they just got tangled on the back straight.
Yeah, exactly. So, as we all know, these dirt cars don't have rear view mirrors, so you can't see what's happening behind you. So, he would have known Jordan Charge was there, and Jordan was just racing his line. So, a bit of a racing incident there, no malice involved. So, but very unfortunate for Vassell there. He was having an awesome night, and to see him drop all the way down the field is a bit heartbreaking, but he's still got time to make up these positions as we go 11 on the board.
Yeah, such a shame. But the only time he would have known that high line was in was once Bob got past and started to pull away a little bit. So that's when he tried to go to the high line, and unfortunately there were already cars there running around the high line.
Definitely. Looks like Brenton Davison as well is called it quits as well.
Back under green, Gavin Sadler is your leader. Bob King in second. Jordan Charge in third, and Lachlan Smith in fourth position. Everyone looking for that high line, trying to get that right rear up on the cushion and get that drive.
Yes, with 9 laps left to go on the board, looking back further to the field. Lewis Hewitt's trying to make his way up there as well, so he's currently running in 8, trying to make that middle of the track work as well. So as we go 2 wide into the first corner, Bob King around the outside of Sadler gets it done, but the yellow comes out, so it'll be interesting to see if he actually got that pass done before the yellow came out.
Yeah, we will just have to wait for the timing systems to catch up here. It will be interesting. I know that was very close. He did get in front, but then the yellow came out. All my timing says that Bob has made that move stick probably just before the yellow came out.
So that's very good luck for Bob King there. So he's going to be obviously setting the pace here for this restart with 5 laps left to go. Well, by the time we go green, it should be probably 3 laps left to go. So Sandler's going to have to pull something out, get a good jump, and try and do a slide job, perhaps going to 1 or 2 with 3 laps left to go.
Yeah, most definitely. That yellow probably was a saviour for Gavin. He was running the middle line there and it looked like he was about to get cobbled up by the 4 running the high line. So let's see if Gavin follows Bob around on that high line. We are coming around for the green flag. Bob to lead us off. No, apologies, the lights aren't out. We will go around one more time. And we are underway. Bob King gets a 2-car lead on Gavin. Gavin goes down to that middle again, not staying up high. And around the outside goes Jordan Charge. Yeah. That's unfortunate. Yellow again.
I just happened to catch that corner of my eye there, Sean. So 3 cars towards the middle of the pack. It was Lewis Hewitt was one of them involved. Lachlan Smith was another one. And the other one was Ryan Harris as well. So all 3 of them all racing for the same piece of real estate. And unfortunately, Lachlan had nowhere to go. Straight into Lewis Hewitt, and Hewitt went shown for wall and ended up upside down. So I think that's going to be a declared race here tonight, Sean.
That will be the end of it. We will not see any more green flag races here in your Race Merch Midgets series.
So in saying that, that means Bob King, he gets 2 from 2. He picks up the feature in tonight. It will be Gavin Sandler. He will get that 2nd place. And rounding out the top 3 will be Jordan Charge. So great job there for SSR, Synergy Sim Racing, picking up 1-3. Gavin Sandler Racing there in that 2nd place. So it's great to see the Gavin Sandler name up there on the podium. Jock Goodyear is going to get that 4th place finish. In 5th place will be Terry Marwell. Great job there from Terry. Showing on my timing sheets that Ryan Harris will still get a 6th place finish. So even though he made slight contact there, he's going to get a good position here. Danny Vassell made up lots of positions there towards the end to get that 7th place. In 8th, Brett Morris picking up good points tonight. Mark Reardon in 8th. 9th goes to Sean Dennis. And rounding out your top 10, your top 10 was Sean Dennis. Matty Reid, after starting off the rear, here's our spotlight driver. It finished off in 11th place. Great result there from Matt. Lachlan Smith in that 12th. And 13th was Lewis Hewitt after those DNFs. So going through your drivers that had DNFs was Brenton Davidson, Zachary Phelan, Bailey Clive, Harry Edwards, James Robbie, Steve Williams, Jordan McDowell, Brendan Hamilton, George Fulton, and Joel Berkeley. So those drivers did not take the start. So I just kind of left wondering what was going to end there, unfortunately, with that declared race there, Sean. But it was shaping up to be a good race.
Yeah, most definitely. Not sure if Jordan or Gavin had anything for Bob there, but the minor positions were definitely hot in competition to see who was going to get them. Definitely 4 or 5 drivers in contention for a podium there. A bit of a shame about that yellow towards the end.
Yeah,
Some
definitely.
Big names.
Obviously, just driving for the, as I said, driving for the same real estate. So that's usually, like I said, what happens in dirt racing. You have no rearview mirrors, so you don't know what's going on, and it happens all the time. You trip over each other, so just good hard racing, I guess.
I was just having a look down the list too before. Sorry about that. Some big names that didn't really get the show that they wanted to get here tonight. Drivers like obviously Lachlan Smith, Lewis Hewitt finishing well down the pack than where they should have been.
Yeah, definitely. I mean, Hewitt was in 3rd in points, I believe, coming into this this round. So, as we said during the street stocks before, it's only round 2 of a very long series. But yeah, you don't want to drop any points when you're racing against the quality drivers we have in the Australia Speedway League.
So just having a look at the presentations have been completed. It looks like we can move on to our interviews for the night. So looks like we might be able to bring Jordan Chargedown, your third place finisher for the night. Jordan just couldn't make us. Looks like we've got Bob. No, Bob seems to have left us. It is Jordan. Jordan, well done tonight. Obviously, that yellow coming out at the end there, you had a great run on Gavin. Probably one spot higher if it wasn't for that yellow tonight.
Yeah, well, it's unfortunate, but I guess that's part of racing. Gavin was just obviously was a little bit quicker than him, but obviously, you know, he's not going to try and let me pass him. So, fair game to him, and awesome job by him, and also to my teammate. Good win. So. Thank you very much.
Great drive. That Highliner again, as we saw, that cushion, definitely hard to drive, but so rewarding.
Yeah, for me, it wasn't too bad. I could sort of rail around it pretty nice, and I felt pretty comfortable up there. I wasn't, you know, making any mistakes. So I was pretty comfortable, and yeah, we were doing all right.
Awesome drive tonight, Jordan, for third position. Is there any sponsors you would like to thank?
Yeah, I got to thank Synergy. These guys have been producing a grouse setup for me. So, thanks to those guys, and we should be right.
Thanks for your time tonight, Jordan. Good race. I believe, Clint, you have Bob King there, ready for an interview.
Yes, definitely, Bob. You're there.
Certainly am.
Yes, congratulations. That's 2 from 2 from you. I don't know if any of these drivers are about to stop you.
Thanks, guys. Yeah, it wasn't a bad race. The track was a bit gripped up, so it took a while for it to open up enough to make some moves. But yeah, we got there in the end.
Yeah, I tell you what, early on in that race, though, Vassal and Sandler, they both seemed to have your measure. And as that race went on, their setups just seemed to die off a bit, and yours came on really strong around the outside.
Yeah, I did set the car up to run the top, and it was just a matter of waiting for it to come in. A couple of times I had the run on Dan, but he slid up and just took my run away, and sometimes that takes a couple laps to sort of recoup your speed. But yeah.
Yeah, no, definitely. Now, you probably don't want us to bring this up, but just while we got you in here, just tell us a bit what happened last week with a bit of an incident between you and Morris, and yeah, just give us your take on that one.
From my point of view, I was following on his tail tank quite closely, and seemed like he hit a bit of a bump and spun the tyres. I did lift. I was probably following a little bit close, but it's a bit too late for that now.
Yeah, so obviously the race officials gave you a bit of a verbal warning. Was that hanging over your head tonight, or did you just put that in the back of your mind and just went out there and drove your hardest?
In the end, you've just got to think, just do what you do and put your head down and try and get to the front. Don't really have time to think about anything else.
Yeah, definitely. Exactly. That's all you have to do is put your head down and don't look behind you. So obviously we've still got a fair few rounds to go. Do you think you can carry this momentum in the race merch midget series and take that #1 position in the series?
I mean, that's the goal for me and the team. As long as we can keep the car up front and minimise our bad meetings, we should have a pretty good chance at it.
Yes, no, definitely. And obviously, Synergy Sim Racing gets a 1-3 finish again, like we saw in round 1. So no doubt you got some people to thank.
Yeah, obviously all the guys at Synergy Sim Racing, Trackstar Racewear, the Speedway shop, you guys for broadcasting, and ASL for all their hard work.
No problem. We'll go and have a few beers and celebrate. No, you can't have a few beers because you're doing double duties tonight. So we'll see you back out on track in just a few short moments. Yeah,
let's see if we can do a double again this week, hey?
Yeah, definitely. So that's your winner tonight in the race merch midgets, Bob King there for Synergy Sim Racing. So didn't have it all his own way in the A main like we saw last week. So, but he definitely came out on top with the chocolates.
Yeah, great drive again there. We will now go to a break as we change to the 410 sprint cards here on RRTV. We will be back shortly. Welcome back to RRTV's coverage of Australian Speedway League Championship. We are into the final class of the night, the WP Concreting 410 World of Outlaw Sprint Cars. And joining me once again in the booth, still going, Clint.
Yes. Now the sun's finally gone down and the lights have come on, so that just means the 410s are out on track, and this is what everyone waits to see when they go to their local track, the big bangers.
Yeah, the noise, the wings, it's just an amazing sight seeing these cars go around. I do believe we are going to have a 24 car field, so if that is true, this is going to be an amazing night.
Yeah, 24 cars on Limaland. That's definitely going to put on a sizzling show, I believe. Like, I just can't imagine the type of show we're going to watch tonight. I mean, especially with the names we got in the room tonight. So you got Sharman making a return, Joel Berkeley after that disappointing what happened to him in the race merch Midgets just a while ago. Jordan Charge is back as well. Daniel Gow, Danny Vassell was there as well. Jock Goodger. So once again, we got star-studded field for you tonight.
Yeah, most definitely. And obviously, just to explain to our viewers how much of a lineup we do have, our top 10 for the World of Outlaws World Championship. Obviously, Bob King and Lewis Hewitt, they are in the top 10 and they are running here tonight. So just an amazing class of field here for your 410s tonight.
Yeah, definitely. So it's great to see the Aussies obviously putting our name out there in the world of dirt racing. Obviously, everyone, when you picture 410 racing, you don't always look to Australia. You look straight to America first. So it's really great to see the Aussies carrying the name. Another person who unfortunately would like to participate in this series but is busy on Wednesday nights is Tim Ryan. So he was the other Aussie that picked up a win. So unfortunately, he would like to race this series, but it just doesn't fit into their yearly schedule.
Yeah, obviously it's hard sometimes to get onto the computer and run laps on the sim, but just having a look at our spotlight driver for tonight, number 46 of Matt Reed running around there. Just an interesting fact, 46 is his actual race number also.
Yeah, it's good when you can run your real-world number and your real-world paint job like you see Danny Vassal's running. So it's good when you can connect personally, not only in the real world, but you transfer it over to the sim racing world. So it's really great to see drivers do that on the iRacing server.
Tell you what, Clint, Danny Vassal definitely raising my eyebrows tonight. Currently 6th at the moment, and with the names that we have in this race, that is a great effort by Daniel Vassal.
Yeah, no doubt. I mean, like, obviously Limaland's only been in the service for 2 weeks, but obviously something here is just gelled really well. Perhaps it's the hot dogs they sell, or perhaps the donuts perhaps taste to his liking. So, but it's definitely great to see him up there in that 7th place during practice here. So hopefully he can maintain it during qualifying.
Jock Goodyear currently with your fastest time. He is at home, considering he does run 4:10 in real life. So obviously setting the pace and showing the way here around Limaland. A lot of tracks in Australia are very similar to Limaland. We don't have the really large tracks, so the Aussies definitely can get up on the wheel on these small tracks, being that every other weekend they are out there racing on them.
Well, exactly. I mean, I don't think the only track I know of that's got a massively long straight here in Australia, I think, is Koana in WA. So, I mean, Valvoline Raceway does have a slight straight in that, but I'm pretty sure, yeah, Koana is the only one with a decent straight compared, like, it's very similar to what we see in America.
Yeah, not a lot of real estate for dirt tracks out here to build something of the likes of Knoxville. If you haven't been to Knoxville, I would certainly recommend putting it on the bucket list. I did get the chance to go last year, and it was absolutely amazing. Sitting into turn 1, you just don't understand how quick those cars are coming in to turn 1 until you're actually sitting in the grandstand.
Yeah, definitely. I mean, the other great thing about iRacing server is mentioning on Knoxville, we'll be visiting there in 2 weeks' time for the ASL Speedway Championship. So it's going to be great. Like, obviously, if you can't afford plane tickets to the real world racing, you can watch it here on iRacing and RRTV Live.
That is the best bit about sim racing. You get all the advantages of real life, and definitely doesn't hurt the wallet as much as real life.
So still looking at the timesheets, Jock Goodyear still leads the way with that 10.9. So Joel Berkeley's sitting there with a 10.9. So a lot of these drivers aren't bettering their quick times at the moment because this track's starting to go off there. So it's going to be interesting to see what type of track we're going to be ending up with for the A main later on tonight, Sean.
Yeah, everyone just getting their final looks now. We still have 17 minutes of practice, but I believe the admin will advance that session. So I don't believe we will see the track change very much. So it looks like everyone is trying to get up to that wall as quickly as possible. And I'm sure we will see most of them sitting on that wall for time trials. Definitely.
So we'll just quickly run through the format as well. So we're penciled in for 6 heats of 10 laps tonight, with the top 4 inverted from qualifying. And then later on we'll have a D main, a C main, a B main, and then finishing it off with the A main for 30 laps. We go dirty for 30. But I believe possibly we may also be dropping heats, possibly just by looking at the car count we've got, and obviously the time curfew, as I mentioned before as well. So perhaps we may see some heats cut as well, Sean.
Yeah, I'm just having a quick look. We currently have in the server 24 cars, so it looks like we may have all cars making it straight through to the A. So the heats are going to determine your starting lineup for the A main.
I tell you what, that's going to make it even more interesting, these heat races, because And as we said, a lot of star-studded quality here in this field, so you're going to have to make these heat races definitely count if you're going to bank good points to go towards your series.
So just with the format also, Clint, we will be inverting our top 4 for each heat. So your pole position for the heat will start in 4th position and your 4th position will start in 1st. It's definitely something interesting that we do on dirt. Your A main will also invert the top 6.
Yeah, definitely. These inversion fields definitely turn the racing up as well. So another thing you touched on last week at round 1 as well is the way the qualifying gets determined for the heat races. So obviously, if you're quick time, you'll be starting off in, it will be 6th place, or so 4th place now for heat 1. And if you're the 2nd quickest, you'll be placed in heat 2. The 3rd quickest, you'll be placed in heat 3, and so on. And as you said, we then snake our way through the field, dropping drivers in each field. So you don't see the fastest drivers all just dumped into the one heat race. You see them spread it out, and they all get given an equal chance.
As we advance the session and get ready to go to time trials, this is going to be close and heated battle for that top position tonight.
Come on, Sean, who's your pick? You're going to pick someone.
Straight off the bat, I am going to go for Lachlan Smith to be your outside man to get that pole position.
Yeah, I'm going for Lewis Hewitt here. So I think Lewis has a lot to prove after last week. So obviously he had speed to finish in 3rd place, but dumped it in 6th place into the wall, and that took him out. So he actually ran the alphabet last week, and he would have been up there for a good chance. So Lewis Hewitt's my pick for a quick time tonight.
As we see Joel Berkeley set the quick time at the moment with an 11.125, followed by Bob King, and your pick there, Clint. Lewis Hewitt in 3rd, just got dropped to 4th as Jock Geargear takes 2nd position.
Yeah, so you see Berkeley straight at the bat. He was the first person to log a time and first person in the timesheets at the moment. So having a look through the field, looking for our man Danny Vassell. So he's currently sitting in 18th place, so make that 19th now. So he still hasn't set a time yet. So fingers crossed he can make it in the top 10. So, but Berkeley's still on track with that 11.1.
Yes, definitely quick time, 11.1. Next closest, 11.23 is Jock Goodyear in 2nd position, and 3rd place, Bob King with 11.27. The times are definitely quick, and they are close.
Yeah, definitely. When you see the top 5 at the moment is only separated by almost 3/10 of this, so it definitely could be anyone's race, but just looking, still trying to see where Vassell. So Vassell, there he is, top 10. So he's currently in 10th place for qualifying. So he's having a stellar night there in his GSR Racing RRTV car.
Yeah, such a great drive for Daniel Vassell. Obviously, I put the commentator's curse on Lachlan Smith, finishing in 14th position there.
Yeah, these drivers all hate commentators. Trust me, they that's why they don't usually want to speak to us after races.
No, they definitely don't like it when we call them out for a good showing, because it generally means sometimes they will end up on their lid. So yeah, that will wrap up time trials for tonight in your WP Concreting 410 series. We will run through your grid now. So in 1st position, we have Joel Berkeley. In 2nd, we have Jock Goodyear. 3rd is Bob King. 4th, Lewis Hewitt. 5th, Jordan Charge. 6th will be Daniel Gow. 7th, Ryan Harris. 8th will be Dylan Sharman. 9th, James Robbie. Rounding out your top 10, Danny Vassell, as we said. Great job by him. In your 11th position, Gavin Sadler. 12th will be Marcus Konitska. 13th will be Joshua Walton. 14th, Lachlan Smith. 15th, Aaron Kelly. 16th, George Fullerton. 17th will be John Schultz. 18th, Zachary Phelan. not having a great night tonight. 19th, our spotlight driver, Matt Reed, struggling a little bit there in time trials. Sean Dennis, 20th. We will now go to Heat 1 grid. If you would like to read those out, Clint.
Yes, definitely. So as we said, the top 4 will be inverted. So starting off in pole position will be Danny Vassell. Great job there from Daniel Vassell there. Ryan Harris will be right alongside on the outside. Lewis Hewitt, my pick for qualifying, starting off in that 3rd place. So it must be the top 6 for inverting, I believe. So Joel Berkeley will be in that 4th place. Joshua Walton will be in 5th. George Fullerton in 6th. Matty Reed, our spotlight driver for tonight, starting off in 7th. In 8th will be Terry Marwood. And rounding out your 9 drivers taking place in Heat 1 will be Jason Brown. Now, just reading, Jason unfortunately clipped the wall during qualifying, and that ended his qualifying session, so he was not able to set a decent time, and that's why he's down towards the back of the field.
That's unfortunate for him, but it should make a great show watching him try to come through as the pace car pulls in, and we go green. Danny Vassell will lead us away. On the outside of him, we have Ryan Harris. As they get really close coming out of turn 2. Danny Vassell is still your leader. Lewis Hewitt on the inside. We have a crash. That looks like Ryan Harris is upside down and out. No yellows in our heat, so we will continue. Lewis Hewitt out in front.
Yeah, Vassell was caught in a bit of a TTL esports sandwich there with the TTLs running 3 cars in the top 4, but our spotlight driver, Matty Reed, slots himself up into 3rd place. Vassell tries to come back in around the outside and just clips the wall there, so loses momentum. So Matty Reed secures that 3rd place. So still up front though is Lewis Hewitt, leading the way from Joel Berkeley. But the battle is on for 3rd place still, with Vassell still holding on to it now as Matty Reed slots back into 5th place.
Matty doing a great job there, just running around mid-track. Jason Brown gets on his side in the back of the field there, as Joel Berkeley is now your leader. He just got into turn 4 wall, but continues to keep it running. Lewis Hewitt looking on the inside. There doesn't look like there is much on the inside. That high line's still the quickest way around this racetrack.
Yes, most definitely. I mean, you see a couple of people trying that inside line, and it's just not working for them. Just noting as well, unfortunately, Terry Marwood made contact with Brown, and Brown ended up in the wall and on his roof. So Brown's night goes from worse to even worse, unfortunately. So he's going to find himself running the alphabet, or possibly staying off the rear in the A-main later on tonight.
As the field spreads out here due to those incidents in the mid-pack, we have Joel Berkeley leading, Lewis Hewitt in 2nd, Danny Vassell managing to hold on to 3rd over Matt Reed in 4th position. And that will conclude Heat 1.
No problem. So your finishing positions for Heat 1. Joel Berkeley, as we said, finishes in the top position. Lewis Hewitt, so it's a TTL lockout on the front 2. Danny Vassell gets that 3rd place, so after starting up in pole position, finds himself still in 3rd and getting a transfer. Matt Reed, our spotlight driver, gets that 4th. Josh Walton in 5th place. Terry Marwood, after making contact with Jason Brown, still managed to get that 6th place. Jason Brown in 7th. Ryan Harris in 8th after unfortunately coming together with Vassell early on in that race. And running out your field is George Fullerton in that 9th place. I don't think he took a start there, or perhaps he made a first lap incident, but he only finished 9 laps down, so he called it quits.
And let's go through your heat number 2 grid. Starting off the pole position will be Gavin Sadler. In 2nd position, Dylan Sharman. 3rd position will be Jordan Charge. 4th, Jock Goodyear. Lachlan Smith will be in that 5th position spot, and John Schultz in 6th. Sean Dennis in 7th, and Stephen Williams out of 8th. This is looking to be a very interesting heat. Watch for Lachlan to try and move up in this field.
Yes, most definitely. It's going to want to make up for that bit of a disappointing qualifying effort there. So I'm just seeing as well, Jason Brown, after that bit of an incident in Heat 1 there, they're struggling to fix that car after the damage, so we may see him back for the A-main, but we may not, but to wait later on tonight.
As the pace car pulls in, Gavin Sadler will lead us away. Gets the jump on the inside, but around the outside, Dylan Sharman straight up to that cushion. Looks like he got a little bit balked there and falls back down the grid to 5th position. Second is now Jordan Charge, Jock Goodyear, using his 410 real-life experience to move up into 3rd position.
Yeah, definitely. As we saw in the Midgets just previously in their feature race, Sadler leads the way by a clear margin. He's making these inverted races really work for him. So as you said, Jordan Charge in that 2nd place, and Goodyear trying to make it work on the inside. Quite doesn't get it done, but makes contact with Lachlan Smith, and he's dropped down the order. So Smithy rejoins the race, but that's his race pretty much over. He's going to be going through the alphabet or later on, or starting off rear field in the A-main.
Yeah, not a good night for Lachlan. Dylan Sharman, after his start, trying to make the way up, making that low line work, trying to drift up to the high line, but just can't make any inroads on Jock Goodyear. Jock Goodyear running that high line as well as Jordan Charge. Gavin Sadler through the middle is actually checking out at the moment. Amazing drive as we see Jock Goodyear get the drive through the middle to overtake Jordan Charge.
Yeah, definitely. You see Charge, he's trying to make the top line where he can just say that or dives up the inside. Tries a slide job, but quite couldn't carry the momentum. And it made him vulnerable for Sharman now on the inside. Gets it up, but Sharman gets slightly loose, and he makes contact with Jordan Charge there. So Charge rejoins and Sharman rejoins. So those two suffered no damages, and they continue racing with 2 laps left to go on the board.
As we cross the line this time, this will be your final lap. Gavin Sadler will do green to checker, taking your heat number 2 race win in the WP Concreting 410 Sprint Car Series. Great drive there from the pole position for Gavin Sadler. Second, Jock Goodyear. Jordan Charge and Dylan Sharman, after having that little run-in together, managed to finish 3rd and 4th. John Schultz will be in 5th, Sean Dennis 6th, Stephen Williams 7th, and Lachlan Smith 8th.
Yeah, definitely. That was definitely a great job there by Gavin Sadler. Definitely, as I said, makes these inverted races work really well for him. So no doubt it would be towards the front of the field, towards the A-main. But don't forget, we are inverting the A-main as well. So perhaps that race win may cost him later on tonight. So. But Heat 3 is now out on track with Marcus Konizigska. Sorry. I will get used to that name. I know I struggled last week, but I will get used to it. James Robbie was starting off right alongside of him in 2nd. Daniel Gow in 3rd place. Keep an eye on that one. Bob King as well, another fast driver in 4th. Aaron Kelly, great to see him starting off in 5th place. Zachary Fillon in 6th. Off 7th will be Cody Maruski. And Billy Ryan rounds out your 8-car field here for Heat 3 of the WP Concreting World of Outlaws 410 Series.
Watching for James Robbie off the front row. He has been having some great success in TAR and the Sim at the moment, so expect him to carry that form into tonight's race, and obviously expect to see him try and win this heat from that 2nd position. Pace car is in, and we are green. Mechanics on the inside. James Robbie tries to go around the outside, trying to make that high line work. Kanitska slides up in front, and around the outside comes Bob King from 4th to 2nd. Great move around the outside. Kanitska still in the lead. Bob King 2nd, and 3rd is Daniel Gow.
Yeah, further back to the field, Cody Morosky put it in the wall, so he's still continuing, but he's now sitting in 8th place and struggling there with a bit of a car setup, so perhaps he's got a little bit of damage. But towards the front of the field, leading the way is still Marcus Kaczynska. Bob King seen it, battling it out there with James Robbie there, Sean.
Apologies, Clint. They Bob King, James Robbie, and Daniel Gow 3 wide. They're coming out of turn 4, rubbing wheels, each giving just enough room so that they can keep racing. Knitska has a little bit of a slide through the mid corner and slows down. Bob King around the outside and into the lead.
Yeah, as soon as Bob King gets out in front, he checks out, looking back for the field, contact's made, and Knitska's around, unfortunately. So after leading the race early on, he found himself sitting in 7th place there.
Yeah, Daniel Gale gave him a big helping hand then, so I'm pretty sure the officials will be straight onto that. James Robbie not letting Bob King go here. Like I said, James in great form at the moment and showing it in the 410. Not letting James get away, keeping clean set of heels here.
Yeah, Daniel Gow gets up into the cushion of wheels and into the wall, so he's lost momentum and made him vulnerable now for Zachary Phelan sitting in there in 4th. So these two battling it out as well with 2 laps left to go on the board. But Bob King definitely trying to check out here, but as you said, James Robbie just not letting him go.
Daniel Gow struggling there, got very sideways coming out of turn number 4. Doesn't look like he quite has that setup dialed in just yet, so he will be looking at this racetrack, finding out what he needs to do, and that is the checkered flag. Bob King is your winner of heat number 3, followed by James Robbie, Daniel Gow in 3rd, Zachary Phelan in 4th position, Aaron Kelly in 5th, and Marcus Knitska in 7th.
Now, as I said before, we are running under a time curfew here at Limaland at the moment, so we have skipped the remaining heat races, and we're skipping straight to the B main as well. So these drivers are going to have to try and get into those top, I think 4 or 6 possibly we're taking. Sean, do you know how many we're taking through to the A main?
It does look like we are taking 15, believe it or not. So 8 laps here will be your B main, and we will take the top 15 drivers.
So unfortunately for one unlucky person, they're not going to make the A main, and you don't want to be that one person. So with 16 starters, so yeah, these drivers are definitely going to be fighting to not make sure they're not that one person. But we'll run through the grid right now because we've got a lot of cars to get through. Starting off in pole position will be your spotlight driver for tonight, Matt Reed. Right alongside him in 2nd place will be Dylan Sharman. Zachary Phelan off that 3rd place. Joshua Walton in 4th. John Schultz in 5th. Starting off right alongside him on the outside in 6th will be Aaron Kelly. Terry Marwood in 7th. 8th place, Sean Dennis. Marcus Knitska in 9th, and Jason Brown, after getting a DNF, he's taken the field to start off in 10th place, but don't see his car out on track, so I think he's called it the night. Stephen Williams will be off 11th. In 12th will be Billy Ryan. Ryan Harris, keep an eye on him in 13th. 14th will be Lachlan Smith. Cody Moriski in 15th, and your final starter will be George Fullerton in 16th.
So what we're probably looking at, everybody just trying to dial their car in for the A main. Unfortunately, that one unlucky driver not making it tonight. You do not want to be that one driver. As we see the pace car pull in, we are green. Matt Reed leads us away. Dylan Sharman gets the drive on the outside into turn 1 and 2. Matt gets back underneath. They touch.
So as I say as well, we're going to go a 7-lap race here for the B main. You just see there's just contact everywhere at the moment. So these drivers are also fighting for a starting position in the A main later on. And contacts made further back to the field with one of their TTL cars. I think that was Dylan Sharman, and he's out. He's dropping down the field.
Absolute carnage at the moment. These guys, 8-lap sprint race, they are absolutely putting the cars everywhere. We have had 4 and 5 wide, so looks like everyone really trying to get into that A main. I'm not sure if the number of people were relayed to everyone. Looks like they're trying to drive for spot number 1 to transfer, Clint.
Yeah, no, definitely a lot of checkbooks are going to be thrown out at the end of this race, because there's going to be a lot of damaged cars. And don't forget, these drivers are going to have a quick turnaround, so they don't want to damage the car too much, otherwise they're not going to make that A main later on. You know, straight after this one, I believe it is. I think we're doing servicing on the infield, and we'll jump straight into a warm up. I think after this.
Yeah, straight into the warm up after this B main. Currently, your leader is Aaron Kelly. John Schultz in second position, Marcus Kanitzka in third, Lachlan Smith after a challenging night up in the fourth position in this B main, Zachary Phelan in fifth, Cody Morsk in sixth, and Ryan Harris in seventh. That will be your B feature for the night.
Now it just leaves you wondering, what are we going to see in the A main after seeing that B main? I think a lot of these drivers realised what was happening, and they weren't really throwing any caution to that race. But hopefully they'll dial it down for this A main. They can all come out with a straight car, and we can get green to checker finish with no safety cars.
Clint, we can get excited. It will be a 24-car A main. The chances of a green to checker, I would put as very low percentage.
Yeah, you wouldn't want to put money down on that one. I don't think I'll. Yeah, no, I mean, I can always say there'll be a yellow flag probably on the first corner, but hopefully there won't be. But yeah, I don't like our chances.
So now we have to think, does this change the mindset of the drivers? Obviously, it's not just about getting out front and winning. It's going to be about getting out front and keeping out of the way of lap drivers. With a time of 12-second lap, I do believe the end of the field will be caught pretty quickly by those lead cars.
Yeah, definitely. And obviously with 24 cars on track, a lot of these people are going to be thinking about championship. People like Bob King, Tim Harris, who unfortunately isn't here tonight, but he's obviously hoping that these drivers don't get good points. Daniel Gow as well, he's going to be hoping for good points. So a lot of these drivers that had good results last week, they've got to try and maintain that momentum as they look towards the rest of the season.
Yeah, most definitely. As we look in practice, everyone finding it really hard to try and find that bit of real estate to put some laps in. So I believe in the main, it is only going to be worse. So good car setup. You're gonna need to think here tonight. It's not going to be all about just hammer down and drive it flat out. You're going to have to be a smart racer tonight here on this track.
Yeah, definitely. Another thing I'm noticing as well is they're cushioned up towards the wall, and that it's actually not that much of a cushion. So a lot of these drivers are trying to lean on it, and they're ending up straight into the wall. So perhaps we won't be seeing too many people leaning on that cushion. Maybe we will, maybe we won't. But hopefully that inside line comes in as well, where we'll see some awesome slide jobs happening as this race goes on.
That is your practice session done for your A-main and your grid for tonight. Off pole position, we have James Robbie in your GSR entry. Jock Goodye in second position. Lewis Hewitt in third. Bob King will be in fourth position. Gavin Sadler in fifth. And Joel Berkeley out of sixth. Your seventh position tonight will be Danny Vessel. Great position for him to be starting in the main. Eighth position, Jordan Charge. Daniel Gow, surprising to see him down as low as he is, but he will be starting out of ninth position. Your top 10 for tonight is Aaron Kelly. Position number 11, John Schultz. Position number 12 will be Marcus Kanitzka. Lachlan Smith starting out of 13th. Position 14, Zachary Phelan. Cody Morsk will be out of 15th, and 16th will be Ryan Harris. Position 17, Terry Marwood, and Stephen Williams will be out of 18th. Dylan Sharman will be starting out of 19th, definitely a driver to watch, and out of 20th, our spotlight driver, Matt Reed. 21st will be Billy Ryan, 22nd, George Fullerton, Sean Dennis in 23rd, and rounding out your 24-car field will be Joshua Walton.
Alrighty, Sean, it's that time. It's time to get dirty for 30 for the WP Concreting World of Outlaws 410. Who's going to be your pick quickly, Sean?
Definitely James Robbie from the front row. Been showing some good form. I will put him down.
Yeah, mine's Bob King again. He's going to back it up again, I reckon.
Green flag on the track as James Robbie takes us away. We are green. Spin Lewis Hewitt into turn 1. Looks like we have gone straight back under yellow, so that will be a restart. We didn't even get one corner in, I believe. This is going to be interesting, Clint.
You know, just watching back on the replay, just looks like off the start there, just Robbie just unfortunately his car just went right. It just wouldn't go straight and went straight into the TTL car of Jock Goodyear, who actually popped a massive moto at the start, and contact was made, and yeah, all hell broke loose after that.
Yeah, I think that was a bit unfortunate. Jock Goodyear put the wheels up in the air, obviously no traction. He's come down. James Robbie has drifted up a little bit, and unfortunately they've met in the middle of the racetrack, and the rest of the field has just had to pile in there and take evasive action.
Yeah, definitely, and that drops Goodyear way down the order as well, so he's going to have to find his way back up towards the front if he's going to get decent points in this round.
This is going to be an interesting start as we come around for the green flag. No, yellow again. Yeah, I'm not sure what happened there, Clint. The truck went in, but I don't think the field was properly lined up, so they've waved that start off, I believe.
Yeah, I think there was a bit of a disagreement with some of the starting positions there, and the pace car pulled in just a bit too soon, and yeah, they just weren't quite formed up just to the starters' liking. So they pulled the yellow back out just to make sure everyone's in the correct starting position, and we'll send them on their way.
So we are just waiting on standings here at the moment as our timing system tries to catch up with what is happening. We believe Bob King is your leader, James Robbie in second, and Joel Berkeley in third. As the cars start to settle down, I believe that is our locked-in positions at the moment.
Yeah, so hopefully we're going to get a green flag this time by... There's 23 laps left to go on the board, so we're going to get some green racing under our belts here, Sean.
Bob leads us away. Great start, 2 car length lead there from the start. James Robbie has Joel Berkeley right up behind him and makes that move into turn 3 and 4.
We see Lachlan Smith has also called it quits for the night, pulled on the infield. Leading the way, Bob King, as you said, Joel Berkeley, James Robbie trying to stay with him, but the SSR TTL drivers have checked out. Joel Goodyear now making his way back through the field, up into 4th place now it is, battling behind James Robbie, trying to get onto that podium. He's battling it out with Jordan Charge, our Real World Racing, now slots himself up into 4th place, but just loses the momentum, and Joel Goodyear gets that position back, Sean.
Yeah, amazing that those two, Bob King and Joel Berkeley, have caught the back runners after only 2 green flag laps. So they are already negotiating lap cars, and it is getting fierce up front.
Boy, we see contact made between Robbie and Goodyear. So the 2 drivers, they made contact at the start of the race and made contact again, and Goodyear is out of this race. You see Robbie's got slight damage on his, missing his front wing there, but just looked like Goodyear went to do a slide job and slid us straight up into Robbie, and Robbie ended up into the wall, Goodyear on his roof, I think. So yeah, so Goodyear's night's done. Robbie's going to try and continue, but I don't know, he'll earn like his chances with that bit of a damage in his car there, Sean.
Yeah, well, luckily with the front wings, he will be able to adjust that wing, move it forward, try and give a little bit of weight to the front of the car, because there will be no weight on that front of the car without that front wing. So he will be adjusting that wing as we speak, trying to get the balance of that car right.
Yeah, so we predicted it was going to be a bit of a hairy race, and yeah, we're definitely getting our money's worth here, but unfortunately all these drivers are going to end up with a lot of cripple cards out there tonight.
Yeah, it's just the nature of these small tracks, Clint. We are going green again. Bob King will lead us away. Gets the jump again on Joel Berkeley as they come into turn 1.
So let's see, Vassal now finds himself up in the 3rd place, and we see another yellow out. That's for Matt Reed, our spotlight driver. He ended up on his roof and in the wall, so unfortunately for Matt Reed out of this race. And unfortunately, as the yellow came out, looked like Joel Berkeley actually drove in the back of Bob King there, so he's now got damage to the front of his car, which is going to cost him over the next 12 laps to go in this feature race for the WP Concreting World of Outlaws Series, John.
Yeah, that was a little bit of a mistake there. I'm not sure if he knew the yellow had come on, but Bob definitely got out of the throttle and caught Joel unaware there. So hopefully that hasn't put the geometry of the front end out too much. I guess we will see on this next restart.
Yeah, fingers crossed we can do the remaining 10 laps under green, hopefully. And as I was saying during that race, Daniel Vassal, what a night he's having. He's up in 3rd place and gets a star-spotted field here. Could he get the win tonight, do you reckon, Sean?
Well, anything is possible. Bob and Joel will race each other as hard as possible, so he may see an opening and go for it. Pace car, I believe, will be coming in this lap as the field settles down. Bob King to lead us away, followed by Joel Berkey and Danny Vassal in 3rd. On the gas, Bob King around the outside, Joel Berkeley follows him, high, up high, and we are under yellow again.
Yeah, that's our man Lewis Hewer. He's upside down. Just rewinding it, he actually rolled all the way from turn 2 all the way to turn 3. So it just looks like he drifted up into the whirlwind, just pretty much drove himself in there and got collected by Gavin Saddle on the way through and pushed him all the way down to turn 3. So I'm pretty sure that 410 is going to be being thrown in the bin after this, and new car will be brought out for next week.
Yeah, definitely some chassis damage there with the amount of rolls that Lewis did. He will be disappointed. Struggled most of the night, and that's definitely not the way he wanted to finish his night. So hopefully we can get some green flag laps here, Clint. We are on lap 24 of 30, so hopefully we can do some green flag running for the end of these few laps.
Yeah, exactly. Not many laps to go, so fingers crossed these drivers can calm down and we can finish it off with green to check a finish.
Pace car pulls in. Bob King is your leader, gets a great start. A lot of drive off that high line. Joel Berkeley again, shallow line in, up to the high line, out. Tries to get the run. We go under yellow again. I'm not sure if Joel will get that spot or if Bob will get it back. I think that will almost do us, Clint. Lap 27 of 30.
No, most definitely. I actually think Berkeley is going to be the person that caused that incident, so I reckon he'll get sent towards the back. I believe maybe we'll have to wait and see where he finishes, but as you said, I'm pretty sure it's going to be declared. We may get a one-lap dash towards the end, Sean, but I don't like our chances to wait and see, but I'm pretty sure it definitely will be a one-lap finish, I reckon.
It will be good if we can just get one lap finish. Joel tried to get his position back, but it looks like he is being put back, rolling back through the field, slotting into 7th position there. So that's a bit unfortunate for Joel after trying to have a good run on the inside of Bob King.
Yeah, definitely. I also like to say as well down to Synergy Sim Racing. They've got 3 cars at the moment in the top 4. So obviously 2 laps left to go on the border. It's a great result there for Synergy Sim Racing. Definitely working well together.
Danny Vassal up 5 positions in 2nd. This will be amazing if he can hold it. 1 lap to go, green flag, and then we will get the white flag. Danny Vassal up high, Jordan Charge behind him, and Daniel Gale. Daniel Gale gets into the back of Jordan Charge, gets him a little bit loose and takes that 2nd position. Jordan Charge falls back. Was that Jordan? No, Joel Berkeley managed to get into 3rd after all that commotion. And Bob King, Danny Vassal, and Joel Berkeley are your top 3.
Yeah, great work there for Bob King. So picked up the double tonight and the double last week as well. So that's 4 from 4 for Bob King on the trot for the race Merch, Midgets, and the WP conquering World of Outlaws 410 series. Congratulations to the Synergy Sim Racing driver. And great job there from Danny Vassell, our man, in there in second place, running the RRTV sponsorship aboard that car. Great job there, and he'll definitely be pleased with that result. Can't wait to pull him in for an interview later on after he's had a few beers, I think.
Yeah, great job for Danny Vassell there. Let's just roll through your top 10. So tonight we have first position Bob King, second position was Daniel Vassell, third position was Joel Berkeley after starting 7th on that restart. Amazing job to get a podium. Gavin Sadler, nice smart drive there to get up to 4th position. 5th place Marcus Kanitzka. 6th place, Zachary Phelan. So after a hard night, a good finish there for Zachary in 6th. 7th position, John Schultz. Moving up 11 positions, Dylan Sharman, almost your hard charger. However, Joshua Walton moves up 15 positions, and he will be your hard charger award in 9th position. Daniel Gow in 10th position. A bit unfortunate with those yellows there in that A-main. We were definitely looking for Dylan to move up, but I mean, to do 11 positions on a track like this, that's just amazing credit to Dylan Sharman.
Oh, most definitely. I mean, the guy's got a full of talent. He does every time you see him jump in the 410. He doesn't steer as much as he used to when the dirt first came into the service, but when he does jump into it, he definitely gives it his all. So great job there for the TTL esports driver, driving that number 91 410 sprint car.
We are just waiting for the drivers to finish off their presentation, and we will see if we can have a chat to a couple of the drivers. Obviously, for the drivers, it is a little bit hard when you don't get many green flag racing laps, but obviously that's the nature of dirt racing and these small tracks with 24 cars on them.
Yeah, no, definitely. I mean, we kind of expected that as well. So, I mean, perhaps the track was also a little bit slicker than what some of them were expecting. As you saw some of them drifting up into the wall when they just weren't maybe ready for the conditions it was going to throw it. Obviously, this is the first time we've visited Limaland here in the ASL Speedway League. So, perhaps they're just going to take time to get used to it. Obviously, we're going to be returning to Limaland again, I think, for round 11. So our second to last round of the series will be back here again. So by then, these drivers should be used to this track, I think, after running a few club meets, I think, as the season goes on.
Yeah, most definitely. And as we said, I believe in round 1, I was talking about getting used to who you're driving with, who you can run with close and who you can't. Obviously, tonight it just showed us that the guys are still learning who they can and can't race side by side with. So by the time we come back at Limaland, I definitely expect a better show once everybody knows who they're racing around.
Yes, most definitely. So I think it's almost, I think our drivers are ready for the interviews after the podium here. So we'll bring in our 3rd place finisher, Joel Berkeley, for a quick chat with us after that race. Just bring him on up to the podium here.
I think Joel looks like he's talking to officials. No, he has joined us.
Joel, you there?
I am.
Well, it's sort of a race that could have been. I mean, obviously you had the speed and then that yellow came out and got slight damage there and it all went pear-shaped from there.
Yeah, I don't have much to say about that at the moment, but yeah, I thought it was a clean cider and yeah, got ran in the back to and same story last week as well, but it happens. Move on to next week and yeah, hopefully we might be able to win instead of having unfortunate races.
Yeah, no, it's definitely a bit of bad luck for you there. You definitely were showing quick hard speed there in that TTL Esports 410. As you said, a bit of bad luck last week as well. What does this mean for your series, do you reckon?
No doubt. We've had great car speed in the midgets and both the sprint cars in the last 2 weeks. We've been working hard. Unfortunately, I can't run the Pro Series, but I've been working hard with a couple of the guys to try and get faster in them. But meaning for the series, well, after the midget one where iracing decided to be iracing and not let us race, I think that pretty much screws us out of the midget one because you get 2 drop weeks and well, I've had a DNF and a DNS and yeah, well, sprint cars well I've had a DNF and a third.
Yeah, no, definitely bad luck there. I mean, at the end of the day, obviously, your series might be over, so perhaps you can just go out there and now race for that number 1 position and get as many wins as you can and try and help your fellow teammates out as well by taking points off of the likes of Bob King and things like that, and you see Lewis Hewitt get up there later on in the series.
our series not over by far at all. It's just can't make a mistake from now on to the rest of the series. So yeah, job's on to try and finish a race clean.
No, definitely. Well, you definitely got the speed to do it, and you've also part of one of the teams where you would want it to make it happen. So, unlucky with tonight, where you only got third place. It could have been a win, but always next week. So, good luck for the rest of the series. No doubt you have some people you'd like to thank. Yeah,
no doubt. We've had any of us had the car speed to win the last 2 weeks, but it's racing, it happens. But yeah, massive thanks to the guys at TTL Esports, down to Graphics Ash Media, Hyperstimulator, everyone else who helps out. It's massive appreciated, and yeah, hopefully we can finish on the top set next week.
Yes, no problem. Unfortunately, I'll be missing that one, but I'll definitely be watching the live stream, and I'll keep our fingers crossed for you, and hopefully you can get up there and get some good luck on your side.
All right, so hope to talk to you soon.
No problem. That was Joel Berkeley. He was your third place finisher here tonight for WP Conquering World of Outlaws. Who do we have next, Sean?
I'll tell you what, Clint, I just want to just make a comment on that. When you think this is a sim and you hear drivers come in here as down as Joel was, just makes you realise how much these guys are actually taking this extremely seriously. You could definitely tell that he's put in a lot of hours there, and to have a night like he's had tonight, you could just hear the disappointment in his voice. So heartbreaking for him.
Yeah, no doubt, man. He even got a third place finish, and he still obviously was a bit down in that. So it just goes to show that these are drivers all out there to win. And yeah, obviously they want to do the best thing by themselves and best thing by their teams as well.
Yeah, most definitely. Just looking around the pits, everyone not very happy with that race tonight. Looks like they've all packed up the trucks and left. There's not many people to interview here around the pits, so unfortunately we can't get Dan. I was trying to get onto Dan because I would love to have had a chat to him. He would be absolutely ecstatic with that second place tonight.
Yeah, no, most doubt. I mean, we've obviously been plugging him all night. He's had a stellar race, especially in the race merch midgets, and then back it up in the WP Conquering World of Outlaws. It's definitely, he's got a lot to live up to next week. That's for sure, Sean.
Yeah, no doubt. I'm sure he will put the pressure on himself to make sure he can do a repeat of tonight. I know he works really hard in the week between the ASL Championship. So, one, it's good to see him have a good result here tonight, and we obviously hope for his sake he continues it on throughout the championship.
Yes, most definitely. Now, obviously, we'd like to thank a few people on behalf of the ASL Speedway League. Obviously, Down Under Graphics for supporting their Street Stock series, Race Merce Midgets as well in there if we're sponsoring our midget race, and WP Conquering as well in the World of Outlaws 410 series there. So I think there might be one other person we might better quickly chase, Sean. Hello, you there?
Yes.
Yes, that's you, Bob, isn't it?
Yep.
Yes. So, Bob, you made a 4 from 4, so that's 2 wins for the Race Merce Midgets and 2 wins for the WP Concreting. I mean, what type of special water are you drinking?
I had a little bit of luck, to be honest, but I mean, you've got to be there at the end. Shame to see the race end how it did in this one, but not much I could really do.
Yeah, exactly. I mean, we were talking about that before as well, me and Sean in the combox, saying obviously with Limaland being so small and like a bull ring and things like that, and when you get a slick track as well, it just pretty much creates havoc. It does.
It's not so much the slick track, it's just the cushion with this build in iRacing. It seems to give you way too much momentum on the top, and if someone actually does try and pull a slider, and it just generally causes problems.
Yeah, perhaps we can get onto those track prep people, and hopefully they can get that sorted in future builds. Now, obviously, as I said, it's 4 from 4 from you for Synergy Sim Racing. Can you keep this momentum going?
I'd like to think so. Some just consistency up the top, and I'll be happy. But I'm not going to say no to any more wins, am I?
Yeah, no, definitely not. So, are you going to be missing any rounds at all this season? Or are you going to be racing all 12?
At the moment, I'll be available for all 12. hopefully nothing comes up and we can make it every week and see what we can do.
Yeah, fingers crossed. I mean, no doubt, Sean, you got some questions for our race winner tonight.
Yeah, Bob, great drive tonight. Obviously, you had to do it a little bit hard there, working from mid-pack to start. The setup, were you obviously factoring in the lap cars there, knowing that you were going to be on the back of them pretty quickly?
You can't really factor that in. You've just got to set the car up and go from there. I mean, luckily, not luckily, but we've had a few cautions, so I didn't have to contend with lap traffic too much. But yeah, we didn't really get to see how the car was, honestly. Just the yellow flags, and you don't really get a chance to get a run up.
Yeah, it's a bit unfortunate when you can't get a long run on these cars. Obviously, they do tend to perform better as you get longer into the run, and all we saw tonight was sort of short stints. But great drive tonight. Obviously, there are some sponsors that you would like to thank.
Yep, for sponsors, Trackstar Racewear and the Speedway Shop, and all the support from Synergy Sim Racing couldn't do it without you guys. And yeah, ASL for putting it on, and RRTV for broadcasting.
Thanks again, Bob. Great drive tonight, and hopefully that continues throughout the season.
Yeah, thanks, guys.
Well, Sean, I think that pretty much wraps up tonight for the Down Under Graphics Street Stock Series Race Merch Midgets and WP Concrete and World of Outlaws 410. I mean, it's been a pretty good night for the ASL Speedway Championships. Hopefully next week. Unfortunately, I won't be here next week because unfortunately I'm taking a trip. But I'll definitely be tuning in next week and having a watch.
Yeah, again, great racing we saw tonight. The caliber of driver that we have in this series is just making for fantastic racing. I hope it is as enjoyable for the viewers as it is for you and myself in the commentary booth.
Yeah, no, definitely. Just a quick mention as well. If you're into the road racing scene as well, tune in this Friday night. You can catch the Porsche Carrera Cup Australia Round 7. That'll be taking place at Twin Ring Motegi. So that's Friday night here on RRTV. Also on Saturday will be the Racing League's Oceania GT Series, and that's at Road America. So if the bitumen tickles your fancy, make sure you tune into those events here on RRTV.
Thank you for your time again tonight, Clint, and thank you for everyone for joining us. We look forward to seeing you next week for the Australian Speedway League Championship. From myself, Sean O'Hara, and Clint, we hope you enjoy the rest of your night.